Let me tell you something that'll change how you move through life. You got to understand this truth. And once you do, everything will make sense. People will treat you how you let them. Now, don't get it twisted. This ain't about being a doormat or letting people walk all over you. This is about you setting the tone for how you deserve to be treated. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't set the standard, people will write the script for you and they'll treat you however they feel like treating you. So here's the deal. I've been through it and I learned this lesson the hard way, but I'm here to save you the pain. Now let's dive deeper into the first point, because if you don't get this one, the rest won't even matter. You are the example of what you accept. Think about it. You can't sit back and expect others to treat you with respect, kindness, or love if you're not showing that same thing to yourself first. If you're constantly letting people walk over you, if you let them talk down to you, if you accept being treated poorly, then that's exactly how they'll keep treating you, because that's the standard you've set. I know because I've been there. I've been the guy who let people get away with things just because I didn't want to make waves. I didn't want to rock the boat, so I thought the right thing to do was to just take it. But guess what? The more I took, the more people kept giving, and none of that was in my favor. You see, people don't respect you because they feel like they should. They respect you because you teach them to. How? By showing them how you want to be treated through your own actions. If you're constantly quiet about the things that bother you, if you let little slights slide by, people think it's okay to treat you like that. And that's on you. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to go out there and start fighting everyone who crosses you, but there's a difference between keeping the peace and compromising your self-worth. When you let people treat you any kind of way, you're compromising your own value. I used to tell myself, well, if I just smile and let this go, things will get better. But you know what I found? Things never got better. They just got worse. The more I allowed people to treat me like I was less important, the more they treated me that way. It wasn't because they were bad people. It was because I had set the standard that I was okay with being treated that way. Here's the deal. You teach people how to treat you. Think about it. When you don't speak up, when you don't demand respect, when you don't set boundaries, you're essentially telling them that whatever they do is acceptable. If you constantly let someone interrupt you in conversation, for example, that's setting the stage for them to believe that it's okay to disrespect you. And trust me, it's not just about big moments, it's in the little things. It's in the way you allow people to talk to you, the way you let them treat you when you're around them, the way you allow them to undermine your time, your feelings, and your worth. I want you to understand this. When you tolerate disrespect, you're not just accepting what's happening in the moment, you're reinforcing that it's okay. And that's where things can get dangerous. If you think people will just magically start respecting you one day without you putting up any kind of boundaries, you're setting yourself up for failure. You've got to take responsibility for how others treat you. If you're always available to people who treat you like an option, don't be surprised when they don't prioritize you. If you let people take advantage of your kindness, they will. And that doesn't make them bad people. It just means you're not making it clear enough that you won't stand for it. Oh, I get it. It's hard to take a stand sometimes. It's uncomfortable to speak up, especially when you're not used to doing it. But let me tell you something. If you don't do it, you're only hurting yourself. Because the longer you allow someone to treat you poorly, the more you start to believe that you deserve it. And that's a dangerous mindset. You are worth more than what you've been accepting, and I want you to start acting like it. I've had to learn this the hard way. I've been in situations where I let people take advantage of me, where I accepted less than what I deserved. But when I finally realized that I was setting the tone, that I was showing others how to treat me, that's when things started to change. I stopped making excuses for people who disrespected me, and I started showing them what respect looked like through my own actions. I wasn't waiting for someone else to change. I started changing the way I approach the situation. It's time to recognize that your value doesn't come from what other people think of you. It comes from how you see yourself. If you don't believe you deserve the best, if you don't believe you're worthy of respect, if you don't believe you're worthy of being treated right, then nobody else is going to believe it either. So going forward, I want you to stand up for yourself. I want you to stop letting people treat you like an afterthought, because you're not. I want you to set the standard for how you should be treated. And when someone crosses that line, don't be afraid to call it out. Trust me, people will start respecting you more when they see you respecting yourself. You are the example of what you accept. And now it's time to accept only the best. Let's talk about boundaries, because if you're not setting them, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I don't care how nice you are, how accommodating, or how much you want to help others. If you don't draw some lines in the sand, people will walk all over you, and that's a fact. Boundaries are not just some optional thing you can maybe do when you feel like it. No, boundaries are a necessity, a requirement, and a powerful tool you have to protect yourself from being taken advantage of. I've learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I didn't know how to set proper boundaries. I thought if I just kept saying yes to everyone, kept helping, kept giving, people would appreciate it and my life would be better. But I was wrong. All I did was teach people that I didn't value myself enough to say no. And guess what happened? They didn't value me either. They took more, and I was left wondering why I felt exhausted, drained, and unappreciated. Here's the truth. When you don't have clear boundaries, people start treating you like their personal resource, and the worst part is you allow it. Now, setting boundaries doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't mean you're being mean or cold-hearted. What it does mean is that you're valuing your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being enough to say, this is where I draw the line. If you think boundaries are just about saying no to people, you're missing the point. Boundaries are about teaching others how to treat you. It's about telling people that your time and energy are valuable, and you're not going to just give them away without regard for yourself. I used to be the guy who would say yes to everything. I'd stretch myself thin, trying to be everything to everyone. But the problem with that is simple. When you're everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to yourself. And when you don't protect your own energy, you end up burning out. And guess what? No one's going to care about your exhaustion. They're going to keep taking from you as long as you keep giving. But let me tell you something. I learned the hard way that this is a recipe for disaster. It's not just about saying no when people ask for things. It's about being clear on what you are and aren't willing to accept. If someone constantly asks you for favors, takes up your time, or disrespects your space, you've got to set that boundary. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first because you're used to being the one who's always available. But trust me, it's worth it. When you start saying no, when you start setting boundaries, you stop allowing people to drain you emotionally, mentally, and physically, and that's when you start gaining back control of your life. Boundaries also extend to how others treat you. If someone is always putting you down, disrespecting you, or making you feel less than, you have the power to stop that. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be a confrontation. It's simply saying, I won't tolerate that, and then standing firm. If people see you accepting disrespect, they'll keep disrespecting you. But if you establish that you won't allow it, they'll begin to understand. You're teaching them how to treat you, and trust me, when you stand firm, people start listening. It's not always easy. I know that. I've had to cut people out of my life, people who I thought I'd never let go of, simply because they didn't respect my boundaries. But when you realize that protecting your peace is more important than holding on to people who drain you, it becomes easier to make those decisions. And when you finally do it, you start seeing a shift in your life. You're not running on empty anymore. You're not bending over backward for people who wouldn't do the same for you. And that's a game changer. Another thing to remember is that boundaries are not just for other people, they're for you too. I had to learn that I needed to set boundaries for myself. That means no more working 24/7, no more skipping meals, no more pushing through exhaustion just to meet someone else's expectations. You've got to put yourself first sometimes. You've got to set boundaries for your own health, your own well-being. The best way to teach others to respect your time is by respecting your own. You also have to understand that setting boundaries doesn't mean you're closing yourself off from the world. It doesn't mean you're becoming cold or unapproachable. It means you're simply prioritizing your needs so that you can be the best version of yourself. It means you're teaching people how to interact with you in a way that is respectful and healthy. And when people see that you're serious about your boundaries, they'll start to respect them. Now, I know you might be thinking, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Let me tell you something. When you don't set boundaries, you're actually hurting yourself. And if you don't respect your own needs, who will? You've got to start thinking of boundaries as a form of self-respect. When you draw those lines in the sand, you're not saying you don't care about others. You're saying that you care about yourself enough to protect your time, energy, and peace. So I want you to start setting some boundaries today. Take a good hard look at the areas of your life where people are crossing the line and take back control. Remember, you're not doing this to be mean or selfish. You're doing it because you deserve respect. Boundaries are your way of saying, I value myself enough to not let anyone take advantage of me. And let me tell you, when you start setting those boundaries, people will start treating you with the respect you've always deserved. Now let's talk about energy, because this is one of the most powerful forces in your life. What you put out into the world is exactly what you're going to get back. If you walk around with a negative attitude, pessimistic thoughts, and a belief that nothing will work out, trust me, that's exactly what you'll attract. On the other hand, if you carry yourself with positivity, confidence, and a belief that good things are coming your way, you're going to draw that same energy right back to you. I know this from experience. It's not just a matter of luck, it's the law of attraction. The energy you give off tells people how to treat you and what they can expect from you. If you want to be treated with respect, kindness, and love, you've got to be the kind of person who gives out those same things in return. Let's break it down. I've been through some tough times, trust me. There were days when it felt like the world was against me, and it seemed like no matter what I did, things just weren't working out. During those moments, I had two choices. I could wallow in self-pity, complain about my situation, and expect things to get worse. Or I could make a choice to change my perspective, stay positive, and focus on what I could control. Let me tell you, when I made the choice to focus on the positive side of things, everything started. It wasn't magic, it wasn't some overnight miracle, but the more I chose to see the good, the more I started attracting people and opportunities that aligned with that energy. If you walk around with a defeated attitude, constantly talking about your problems, your struggles, and your hardships, people are going to pick up on that. And here's the thing, people aren't always going to treat you with compassion if they think you're just a constant source of negativity. The energy you put out becomes the vibe people associate with you. If you're always complaining, people are going to avoid you, or worse, they'll start treating you like you're just someone to fix. But when you choose to stay positive, when you approach each day with a mindset that things will get better, you'll attract the people who share that energy with you. The right people will want to be around you, and they'll treat you in a way that reflects your own energy. Now, let me tell you something else. Positive energy doesn't just mean walking around with a fake smile and pretending everything is fine when it's not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an authentic belief that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that your situation can and will improve. It's about focusing on solutions, not problems. It's about having the courage to keep going even when things are tough. People can tell when you're being real. And when you're real about your energy, when you show up with genuine positivity, you give others permission to do the same. It's a ripple effect. But here's the catch. It's not just about how you act around others. It's also about how you treat yourself. If you're constantly putting yourself down, doubting your worth, and expecting things to go wrong, that's the energy you're sending out. You teach people how to treat you, and if you're treating yourself poorly, guess what? They're going to treat you poorly too. You've got to believe that you deserve the best. When you start to recognize your own worth, when you start seeing yourself as valuable, that energy changes everything. And when you make that shift, you start seeing the world through a new lens. You start attracting the right people into your life, people who will treat you with the respect, kindness, and love that you've always deserved. I know it's not always easy. We all go through tough times, and it's hard to keep your head up when life is throwing curveballs your way. But here's the thing. It's during those tough times that your energy matters most. People can tell when you're going through struggles, and they'll respond to your energy. If you face challenges with a positive mindset, if you show resilience and determination, you'll inspire others to do the same. You'll also attract people who lift you up instead of dragging you down. I've been in situations where I was on the edge, feeling like everything was falling apart. But instead of giving in to negativity, I focused on what I could control and stayed hopeful. And you know what happened? I started attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy into my life. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. When you walk through life with the belief that good things are coming your way, you create a magnetic energy that draws those good things to you. You start to notice opportunities that were always there, but you were too focused on the negative to see them. You start to meet people who share your values and want to help you succeed. Your energy is like a beacon. It signals to the universe and to the people around you what you're ready for. When you're putting out positive energy, you create a space where only the good can thrive. People will treat you based on what you reflect. So here's the deal. If you want to be treated with respect, kindness, and love, you've got to start by treating yourself that way first. When you change the energy you're giving off, you change the way the world responds to you. It's not about waiting for someone else to make the first move. It's about taking responsibility for your own energy and creating the life you want to live. When you believe that good things are coming your way, you'll find that they do. And when you put that energy out into the world, you'll attract exactly what you need to move forward. Let's get into the importance of speaking up for yourself. I want you to understand something that I didn't always grasp. If you don't stand up for yourself, no one else will. I used to think that if I kept quiet, if I didn't rock the boat, everything would eventually fall into place. But let me tell you, I learned the hard way that silence doesn't solve problems. It just lets them grow. When you don't speak up, you're not protecting yourself or your rights. You're leaving the door open for people to take advantage of you, disrespect you, and treat you like you don't matter. I've been there. I've been the person who was too scared to say something because I didn't want to upset anyone. I thought if I just went along with things, kept my thoughts and opinions to myself, I'd keep the peace. But all that did was make me feel small. And guess what? The people around me started treating me like I was small too. If you don't say anything, people assume you're okay with whatever is happening. They don't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or what you need unless you open your mouth and tell them. If you keep everything bottled up inside, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to everyone around you. You have to understand that your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have. It's your way of communicating your needs, your boundaries, your expectations, and your worth to the world. When you speak up, you're telling others that you're not going to tolerate being treated badly. And here's the thing. People will respect you more when they see that you respect yourself enough to speak up. It's not about being confrontational. It's about being assertive. You don't have to yell or start a fight to make your point. You just need to be clear, direct, and unapologetic about what you want and what you won't stand for. I want you to think about something. Every time you let someone speak over you, every time you let someone interrupt you, every time you don't correct someone when they disrespect you, you're teaching them that it's okay to treat you that way. But when you speak up, when you say that's not acceptable or I don't agree with that, you're setting a standard for how you should be treated. You're telling the world, this is who I am and this is what I stand for. And trust me, people will start to take notice. They'll start to treat you with the respect that you've shown yourself. I used to be afraid of rocking the boat. I thought, what if I say something and make things worse? I was terrified of confrontation, so I stayed quiet. But here's what I didn't realize. Not speaking up is its own kind of confrontation. You silently accepting treatment that doesn't serve you, and you giving others permission to keep treating you that way. I learned that it's far worse to stay silent than to speak up, even if it's uncomfortable. Speaking up may be difficult in the moment, but the peace and respect it brings you later is worth every second of discomfort. Now, let me be clear. I'm not telling you to go around being combative, aggressive. That's not the point. I'm talking about standing up for your beliefs, your needs, and your boundaries with confidence. I've had to confront people in my life, people I loved and people I didn't know well, because I couldn't stand by and let them treat me poorly. And when I spoke up, I realized something powerful. It didn't just change the way they treated me, it changed the way I viewed myself. When you stand up for yourself, when you speak your truth, you gain an incredible amount of confidence. You begin to see yourself as someone who is worthy of respect, and that's a game changer. The key here is that when you speak up, you're also teaching others how to speak to you. You're showing them that you're not afraid to communicate your feelings and your boundaries, and that you expect the same in return. If you don't speak up for yourself, people will treat you however they want, and they won't even realize they're doing it. But the moment you set the record straight, the moment you say, hey, that's not okay, you begin to set the standard for how you'll be treated moving forward. And don't let fear hold you back. It's easy to stay quiet when you're scared of how someone might react. But remember this, the person who respects you is the one who will listen. If someone can't handle you speaking up for yourself, that's a red flag. And frankly, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Here's what I've learned. The longer you wait to speak up, the harder it gets. The longer you let disrespect slide, the harder it becomes to confront it later on. If you let someone walk all over you for months or years, eventually it'll become a habit for them, and it'll be much harder to change it. But if you speak up right away, if you set boundaries early, you're making it clear from the start what you will and won't tolerate. And that will set the tone for every relationship in your life, whether it's personal or professional. So don't wait. Don't sit back and hope things will magically get better. If something isn't right, if someone is treating you badly, it's time to speak up. Your voice matters, your opinion matters, and your peace of mind matters. The more you practice speaking up for yourself, the more confident you'll become. And when you do that, the people around you will start to respect you more. You'll start creating the life you deserve, one where you're treated with the dignity, respect, and kindness you've always been worthy of. Speak up and set the tone for the way you expect to be treated. It's time to make your voice heard. Now, let's talk about something that I've had to learn the hard way, knowing your worth. I'm here to tell you that you are worth so much more than you think you are. I've been in situations where I didn't fully recognize my own value, and I let other people treat me in ways that didn't reflect who I truly was. But once I got clear on my worth, everything changed. And you need to do the same, because when you don't know your worth, you end up accepting less than you deserve. You allow people to take advantage of you, undervalue you, and treat you in ways that don't align with who you really are. Let me ask you a question. Do you truly believe you deserve the best? Because if you don't believe that about yourself, nobody else is going to, and it starts with you. You've got to look in the mirror every single day and remind yourself of who you are. You've got to say, I'm worthy of love, respect, success, and happiness. You can't wait for someone else to tell you that. You have to believe it for yourself. Because once you do, you'll stop tolerating anything that doesn't match that standard. If you don't recognize your own worth, how can you expect anyone else to see it? If you're constantly putting yourself down, letting people walk all over you, or accepting things that aren't in line with your value, you're telling the world that it's okay to treat you that way. Now, I get it. It's not always easy. I've been there where I doubted myself, questioned my abilities, and let others take the lead in shaping how I should be treated. But one day I had to wake up and say enough was enough. I had to start respecting myself in ways I had never done before. I had learned to say no when I needed to stop settling for less than what I deserve, and to stop apologizing for taking care of myself and my needs. The moment I started doing that, everything changed. People started treating me with the respect I was giving myself, and opportunities started coming my way because I was showing the world that I valued my time, my energy, and my talents. When you know your worth, it changes everything. It changes the way you carry yourself. It changes the way you speak to others. It changes the way you allow people to treat you. But it's not just about how others treat you. It's about how you treat yourself. If you want people to recognize your worth, you first have to recognize it yourself. You've got to stop waiting for validation from others. If you're constantly looking for approval from people, you're going to keep putting your happiness in the hands of others. And let me tell you, that's a losing game. Your worth doesn't come from how others see you. It comes from how you see yourself. Once you start truly understanding your worth, you'll stop settling for relationships, jobs, and situations that don't honor who you are. You'll stop staying in toxic environments, and you'll stop giving your time and energy to people who don't deserve it. I know that when I was younger, I let people into my life who didn't treat me well because I didn't think I deserved any better. I thought that I had to accept what came my way because that's all I was worth. But the moment I realized that I could create the life I wanted and demand respect, everything started to shift. I stopped allowing others to dictate my worth, and I started living in a way that reflected my value. Here's the thing. People can only treat you how you allow them to treat you. And when you don't know your worth, you end up tolerating things that you shouldn't. You'll stay in situations that don't serve you, and you'll let people walk over you because you don't have the confidence to demand better. But when you know your worth, you begin to make decisions that align with who you are and what you deserve. You begin to say no to things that don't contribute to your growth or happiness. You start to surround yourself with people who lift you up, who respect you, and who recognize the value you bring to the table. And let me tell you this, when you know your worth, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to seek validation, and you certainly don't need to settle for less. You'll stop feeling like you have to constantly prove yourself to others because you already know who you are and what you're capable of. You'll stop chasing after things that don't fulfill you because you'll understand that you deserve so much more. I know it can be tough at times to really embrace your worth, especially when you've been conditioned to put others' needs before your own. But trust me, when you start recognizing your own value, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will start to show up in your life. Here's the bottom line. Stop settling for less than you deserve. Know your worth. Stand in your power, and don't let anyone make you feel like you're. The moment you start honoring yourself, others will follow suit. And when that happens, the way people treat you, the opportunities that come your way, and the way you feel about yourself will all align in a way that truly reflects your value. The truth is, you are worth more than you've been accepting, and it's time to start living like it. Now, let's talk about the power of surrounding yourself with the right people. If you want to be treated with respect, dignity, and kindness, you have to be strategic about the company you keep. You cannot expect to rise above your circumstances if you're constantly surrounded by people who are bringing you down, doubting your potential, or draining your energy. The people you choose to spend time with have a huge influence on how you see yourself and how you allow others to treat you. If you're hanging around people who don't value you, who are negative, or who don't believe in your dreams, you're setting yourself up for failure. But when you surround yourself with people who uplift you, who push you to be better, and who genuinely care about your growth, the sky's the limit. I'll be real with you. I've been in both situations. I've been surrounded by people who weren't good for me, who didn't support my dreams, and who honestly didn't care about my well-being. And let me tell you, when you're around those kinds of people, it's easy to start doubting yourself. You start second-guessing your decisions, questioning your abilities, and wondering if you're doing the right thing. But on the flip side, when you start surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, and who want to see you succeed, you begin to see the world differently. You begin to believe in yourself more, and you start to hold yourself to a higher standard because the people around you are showing you what's possible. The people you surround yourself with are a reflection of who you are, and they also shape the way you allow others to treat you. I want you to take a hard look at the people you're spending your time with. Are they lifting you up or bringing you down? Are they supporting your dreams or telling you they're impossible? Are they treating you with the respect you deserve, or are they treating you like an afterthought? It's time to be real with yourself about the people you've let into your life. I've had to cut people out of my life before, and it wasn't easy, but I can tell you this, it was necessary. I had to make room for people who would encourage me, people who would challenge me to be better, and people who would respect me in ways that others never did. It was hard at first, but the moment I let go of the negative influences in my life, I saw a shift. I began to grow in ways I never thought possible. You see, the people you surround yourself with set the tone for how you treat yourself. If you're constantly around people who are toxic, who tear you down, or who aren't invested in your success, you'll start to internalize that negativity. You begin to think that maybe you're not good enough, or maybe your dreams are too big. But when you're around people who believe in you, who push you to be your best, and who challenge you to keep going, you'll start to see yourself in a different light. You'll begin to set higher standards for how you allow others to treat you. And when you do that, your entire world starts to shift. I want to make one thing clear. Surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't mean being around people who always agree with you or people who never challenge you. No, what I'm talking about is surrounding yourself with people who respect you, people who care about your growth, people who want to see you win. You need to have people in your life who will hold you accountable, who will call you out when you're slacking, and who will celebrate your wins with you. These are the people who will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. I'll tell you this. When you surround yourself with the right people, something magical happens. You begin to see opportunities that you would have missed before. You start making decisions that are aligned with your goals. You begin to walk through life with confidence because you know you're not alone. You got a team of people who've got your back. The right people in your life will never make you feel small. They will never make you question your worth. Instead, they'll encourage you to keep going, even when it feels like giving up would be easier. And when you have people like that around you, you begin to expect the same treatment from everyone else. But here's the thing. You can't expect to attract the right people into your life if you're not living up to your own standards, if you're not treating yourself with respect, if you're not setting boundaries, and if you're not confident in your own value, how can you expect others to do the same? The key to attracting the right people is to first be the right person. You have to embody the qualities you want in others. If you want people who are kind, respectful, and uplifting, then you need to be those things yourself. It starts with you. When you start living with integrity, when you start respecting yourself, and when you begin to set boundaries, you'll start attracting people who mirror that same energy. At the end of the day, the people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life. They shape the way you see yourself, they influence how you treat others, and they impact the way you allow yourself to be treated. So be intentional about the people you let into your circle. Choose people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who treat you with the respect and love you deserve. When you do that, everything else will fall into place. Your life will reflect the people you've surrounded yourself with, and you begin to live in a way that truly honors your worth. Choose wisely, because the right people will lift you up and the wrong ones will hold you back. As we wrap this up, I want you to take everything we've talked about today and let it sink in deep. Understand this: the way people treat you starts with how you treat yourself, how you set your boundaries, and how you communicate your worth to the world. It's all about understanding that you deserve respect, love, and success. It's about recognizing that if you allow people to treat you poorly, they will. But if you stand firm, if you know your worth, and if you surround yourself with the right people, you'll begin to see a dramatic shift in how others treat you. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself, to cut out the negativity, to stop tolerating disrespect, and to demand what you deserve. You have the power to change your life and to create an environment where you are treated with the respect you deserve. And let me remind you, it all starts with you. Take responsibility for the energy you bring into the room, for the boundaries you set, and for the relationships you allow to flourish in your life. As you move forward, I want to leave you with this: never settle for less than what you're worth. You have greatness inside of you. You have the power to command respect, to achieve your goals, and to create the life you desire. But it starts with believing in yourself and making it clear to the world how you expect to be treated. I believe in you, and I know that if you take these lessons to heart, you'll find yourself walking into a future full of opportunity, love, and success. Good luck on your journey. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to grow. Go out there and demand the respect, the treatment, and the life you deserve. You've got this.